Guys, welcome back to Sunday, welcome back to the next 100 and welcome back to the fantastic Ladybank. So today we're out here at Ladybank, we are continuing our series and our tour, and we're out here with our Seed SD01 there. We're out here with our Seed SD01s and our Skyforger Takomo wedges. So a massive shout out to those guys for supporting this tour and helping us get around and see these golf courses and put all of these to the test. Again, with the money you save from these kind of brands, you can come and play golf courses such as this. A fantastic course here today, but we're going to be talking through probably one of the hardest shots we see when people are playing this kind of golf course. So this is more of a heathland course. You'll have seen in previous weeks we have been talking about links golf, playing different shots there, what we start to see people struggle with. A lot of the times here we get obviously nice tight lies just short of the green, going over bunkers that maybe aren't as high as your ones on your links golf, but we need to start to get them carrying over that. And what we see a lot of the times is people go straight to this club. So this club is a Skyforger wedge, a 001, but it is the 60 degree. We know that is Mr. Robinson's, well, his old favourite wedge. He is now obviously...
I feel like I've grown up.
You have grown up, and this is what we start to see. Again, we've got a 35-yard shot here and people go straight to the 60. They're trying to play it high, and we can play that shot, but we've got to get a few things right at setup to start with. What we start to see from this shot is people go, well, 60, it's pretty much a full swing. We go pretty much a full stand, so as if you would be hitting this maybe 80 yards. If I looked at you from face on, I wouldn't know how far you was hitting this shot. What we want to make sure here, even on these shots when we're using the 60, is to narrow that stance up. Get it around about a club width apart, get this left foot turned out, but still with a 60 degree, my weight is going to be left. A lot of the times you see people back here, right, I've got to help it up a little bit, and we start to see that shot's exactly that. Oh, it's not bad. Oh, it just didn't check. Well, it didn't check because it came off the leading edge of that golf club. So we need to make sure that we've got the weight on our left hand side. And again, think about what golf ball you are using. Today we're using the SD01 like we mentioned. This is similar to a PROV1. If you're using another one of the C golf balls that maybe doesn't spin as much and launches higher, we need to think about what kind of shots you are using. So if you were using something like the SD05, that's lower spinning, we're going to have to change where we land it. But with this, if we are going to play this shot, I've still got to think, right, okay, my weight is on the left, and then from here, I'm not trying to think about wrist hinge. A lot of people get obsessed with thinking, right, have I got to hinge my wrists and then release them? That gets you confused, you don't get your distance control. I want you to think here is just get the body working correctly. If we can turn the body back and turn the body through, we can get a nice crisp strike on that, lands halfway and runs out a little bit. So you can see there, we've just got this setup correct. We've got a golf ball that we know what it's going to do. Is it going to spin? Is it going to run out? Most golfers, including myself and James, don't always get spin, so it's just about making sure you get the right landing zone, but picking the right club. James is going to show you a little bit more of a high tariff shot here with a different wedge. This is the one that everybody wants to play. This is the sexy shot, as I'm sure James will describe it as, and that's why James is doing it.
Okay guys, so obviously what kind of wedge you're using and golf ball does make a huge difference, but really there's no change in the factor that you need skill to do this. You need skill to be able to play the ball high, you need skill to be able to play the ball low. You also need consistency, so you might want to change how you stand a little bit. You might want to stand a tiny bit narrower for this low spinny shot. Your ball position might vary depending how you want the ball to take off. If you want the ball to go really high, you might move it forward a little bit, but generally you would just kind of change the club that you were going to use. And I think Chris demonstrated really well with the 60 degree there how to play that shot. He didn't open the face up and really try and play a really high shot, still just utilised the loft and played it like a normal pitch shot. It's always going to go high with the amount of static loft you have on it, and obviously if you can deliver decent dynamic loft as well, then it's going to go high and get you the landing angle. But we're going to talk more about trying to generate a little bit of spin here. So if I were to put this ball kind of middle of the stands, I'm not going to have the handle too far forward here. That's going to make sure that the leading edge digs in too much. One thing you find at these heathland courses like Ladybank is it can get a little bit moist underfoot. Today it was really heavy rain last night. I mean, if Chris pans around, you can see just how good a condition the golf course is in. There's no real wet patches, but it is still just that little bit moist underfoot, so you don't want the leading edge to dig in too much or you're going to really struggle to get the strike. So we still need to have some bounce on this. So if I just have that club face nice and square, maybe a touch open, and I'm not opening the club face to put loft on it to get the ball high, I'm opening it just to get that bounce to glide on the turf nicely. That's one of the best tips that I can give you for this shot. Make sure the bounce is being used properly. This 56 degree Skyforger has 12 degrees of bounce on it. So if I can then just have the ball middle of the stance, my weight remains forward just like it does with Chris from the 60. I'm going to feel as though I take the club back just a nice distance for the shot I'm wanting to play. I'm wanting to land this around halfway there. It'll take a couple of checks and then it should run out like a putt. And then I feel like from there I rotate my upper body and release the club nicely. I don't drive the handle forward, I don't use my hips or my lower body too much. This is all about making sure you can release the chest and the upper body. I've played that exactly how I wanted it to. Couple of checks, release out like a putt. You'll see how low that ball came out as well. It came out really nice and low. I haven't taken a huge divot, I've just grazed the fairway there. That's the exact contact that I want, and that's why I opened the face up ever so slightly to get that bounce engaging on the ground there. If I were to open it up too much, then you would start to see the bounce raise a little bit, and that's where you see the ball just pop up in the air too much. It lands okay, but it doesn't release out like the putt like you want it to. So you can see I've got 15 feet instead of 5 feet. Another way you can play this is scoot it back in the stance just a little bit. Again, take it back to a nice distance, make sure that club face is rotating around your body. But the big element you want to do here is still release the club nicely. So you can see that's taken a check, it's releasing out like a putt. Exactly the same result as the first shot. But the big thing here is as I've released that club, it's rotated around my body. So that club face is still turning. I haven't held it off. I haven't tried to hold the loft on it. Two fantastic ways of playing very difficult shots on heathland courses. Guys, huge thanks to the guys at Takomo and the guys at Seed Golf for helping us on this next 100 tour. It's been so good so far. I hope you're enjoying it. Apart from that, we'll see you all next week. Goodbye.